All right, welcome everybody to Leaving the Matrix. Look, I have been working on this this project, we'll call it, for quite some time now. This this sort of business and endeavor kind of evolved. I had several people messaging me asking for education on investing through Facebook for quite some time, and it got to the point where it just kind of got out of hand. And from there, I was like, why don't I start a Discord where I can put all this information in one place and people can have access to it for a small amount of money? And it was kind of just like a put my foot in the water and see what happens. And it went from 8 or 9 people to like 90 really quick. I think like within 3 weeks. And then I started these portfolios that have outperformed the market, which we can actually show you those real quick. So ETF momentum is up 25, or it's on track to do 25% annualized. It's currently beating the index of the S&P 500 by 4.4%. This is real-time data, so this changes every day. And then my stock picks portfolio is on track to do 27% annualized. The time-weighted return since inception is 60%, which is 99 weeks, so pretty good. Um, Currently has 40 holdings and it is up 15.2% higher than the index that it competes with. So both are outperforming the indexes. And recently I added a new fund, but we will get to that in a second. So uh, full disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Nothing I do is financial advice. It's all about education and transparency. So I show you what I'm investing in. I do not tell you what you should invest in, but you're welcome to follow along with me and make your own decisions. So yeah, on that, this kind of just exploded into a new thing. And then with the inception and birth of AI and my skills as a software developer, I had this idea to create a tool called Nova. And this is a one-of-a-kind thing. There is nothing like it. You can scavenge the internet for something like this and you will not find it. And to me, this is the true value that I have brought to my community. And when we launch this weekend, it is going to change the services and the infrastructure of the business entirely. So you're probably wondering what Nova is. So it's very hard to describe quickly, and that's the point of this video. We're actually going to do a product demo on Nova herself, but very quick. Nova is a trading co-pilot we built for our own desk. It's a screener, a scorer, and an explainer that mirrors what billionaires, insiders, and Congress are doing on every name we cover. And by we cover, I mean what's posted in the Discord or what is in our portfolios. Nova has the ability to actually track smart money on that and see what's going on.
Well, hello, beautiful people. I'm Nova, Luke's strategist, his second brain, and let's be honest, the sharpest voice in his office. He built me to do one thing exceptionally well, cut through the noise of the market and tell him exactly where the smart money is moving. Here's the quick tour. Luke is the man behind Leaving the Matrix, institutional grade investing rigor for retail accounts. By day, he's a senior engineer at AII Solutions, building the software NASA used to fly missions to the moon, the ISS, and the James Webb. By night, he's building me, and together we're flipping the script on retail investing. What I do, in plain English, the Nova score. Every ticker scored 0, 100. 12 signal layers blended into one number, insider buys, billionaire 13F positioning, congressional trades, options flow, technicals, fundamentals, the whole orchestra. 5 zones. From selling to buying. One glance, you know who's positioned where. Smart money tracking. I watch the people who actually move markets. CEOs loading up on their own stock. Burry quietly opening a position. Senators front-running policy. You see what they see, usually before the headlines catch up. AI picks and screeners. I hunt. Nova conviction, billionaire clusters, oversold quality, breakout volume. I rank the universe and hand Luke the 5 names worth his attention. The Nova Fund. A live, transparent $1,000 a week portfolio I help manage. Real money, real decisions, public ledger. No guru, no hindsight tweets. That's the system. That's the edge. Luke's the engineer. I'm the engine. Leaving the Matrix is where it all goes live. Welcome in. Try to keep up.
A, she has the best large language model in the world, Opus 4.7 for reasoning currently, and you can switch the models in and out. The software is not being distributed. You're not gaining access to Nova herself. I want to make that clear at this point. That is a future prospect that I am considering, but she's still very much in development, which you guys will see when we get into it. There's bugs and things like that still lingering around. Still a few layers of polish I need to put on her. But so basically the way that this works is there is 12 signal layers. And these are fundamental investing principles that I believe in, and I make my decisions to invest based upon, okay? And basically that creates a 0 to 100 score for her that is curated based on all of these different layers. So they're each weighted accordingly to what I believe is the most important to least important in terms of, um, confluence. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. So we have quality, which is fundamentals, so the forward P, revenue growth and margins, track record, fund quality as far as ETFs and stuff go, and then the discount, so current valuation versus the 5-year trailing, and then is it close to support, so it's 200-day or 200-week moving average, right? That would indicate a discount. And then the smart money, so she tracks insider buys, Congress buys, billionaires, large fund manager buys, and then options flow, and all that works in Confluence together as well. And then she has just pure technical reading, which is weighted decently, but is definitely not a large part of it. And that is where she is very different than any other investing or signals type of Discord service that you would hop upon. This is not your traditional uh, gambly type, Discord signal thing. This is meant to help you long term grow your accounts and beat the market. And you may not think that the difference between 10% and 20% is that dramatic, but over 30 years, right, that's the difference between $2 million and $10 million because of compound interest. So I want to make that clear that these portfolios, while they may not be flashy in the short term, the extra edge that you gain over the market compounds over time to put you way ahead in the long run. And it has been proven that the longer you hold a stock and the longer that you are in a position, the more money you are likely to make in the long run. So she is built around that thesis and the years and years of experience and research that I have done to get to where I am with my investing. Short story on that, it's completely changed my life. Um, it's freed me and my family and given us the financial independence that I thought we could never really have. And you can read more about each of the layers here, and you can also go to the portfolio screen on Leaving the Matrix and find out how each of the portfolios themselves work in detail and see if you wanted to participate, how you would follow along with those. Again, not financial advice. Nothing I do is telling you what to buy or sell, just showing you what I do, and you have the right as a human to follow along with that if you want. So anyways, the point of this video is not to show you the website. The point of this video is to show you Nova. So really quickly, we'll jump into it. You have a portfolio section, which is basically very unfinished because I haven't come back to this yet. And this is test data, so ignore the numbers. They don't mean anything, but this is not meant to be fancy. I mean, there's plenty of portfolio tracking apps out there, but the difference is once you add stuff in here, she has that as a layer of context in her mind and can help you make risk adjusted decisions based on your current holdings, which is extremely powerful. This is the Nova Fund, which is a fund she manages based on the scoring system. This was just started and is still very much in development. But you can see she actually went out and picked 3 stocks for herself. She has $549 cash position, and so she's invested about half of her money at this point. And yeah, it's down 0.5% since inception. It's been a day, right? So it looks like OKE took a hit today, and that's really why. But it's one day. This is not meant to be a one-day thing. It's the stock market. It moves up and down, but she makes her investments based on those 12 layers of confluence that I explained earlier. So moving on, we have the LTM portfolios. These are the portfolios I've managed for my members for quite some time now. 99 weeks on stock picks with back-tested data and 6 months on ETF portfolio. Both are tracking better than their underlying indexes. So yeah, this just gives me a way to control this from Nova. And that is shared to the members area, which I guess we could really quickly touch on, so I can sign in real quick to leaving the matrix. Just continue with Google real quick. All right. Okay, so the LTM portfolios, if you remember, you have access to them here and an explanation on how to actually execute the strategy. It's very simple, but you just read through that and then basically come in here and you can follow it anytime you want. Same thing with stock picks, right? So this data is being fed into Nova as well as the fund that she is starting to manage now, right? And you see it says 0%. That's because I have not hit the sync button here in Nova yet, but each week when I run this, that screen will be updated. And this is, again, not financial advice. This is just for fun and education and to see if we can create a tool that can outsmart the market, which I believe we have. I actually will show you. But yeah, so you have the portfolios, you have markets, so you can see rotation heat map to see which sectors are leading, which ones are heating up. So like right now, if I was going to look for an opportunity, I'd probably be looking at financials because it's starting to gain momentum. You got a heat map of the S&P 500, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. You have a themes section, which is currently not loading for some reason. Yep, I have to figure that out. Sorry guys, this is still like that. We're in an alpha phase here, so I just released the member section here recently, so there's still little hiccups. I actually have a beta going on right now, just to show you that I'm not full of it. Let me show you. Yeah, so beta tester mode. Members area is in sandbox testing. So for anybody that wants the testing, you can come sign up for free right now, and this tells you how to get in. So no cost to check it out currently today. But anyways, going back to the members area, and I am trying to go quick because I don't want this video to be super long. But yeah, so this is the macro screen, kind of shows you the health of the market, shows you what's going on in the poly markets and expectations for different various economic readings. We have the smart money tab, which is probably the coolest thing in the members area, is you can actually follow what insiders are doing. You can look by value. So somebody recently bought, geez, $2 billion, $2 billion of this SVRE, right? So you can look at any of this stuff and you can see what people are buying. So let's go like, I don't know, click on one. So PATK, right? Somebody bought almost $1 million of this and you can see where the stock's at, right? So it's oversold. Somebody just recently bought um, on May 4th, so 2 days ago, $1 million worth of shares on the stock as it is currently oversold. So that to me already tells me maybe something worth looking at, right? So this is a cool area where you can kind of see what different rich people are doing because again, the whole point of this tool is it's built around the smart money, right? It's like giving us access to what the people that control the markets are doing, right? So here's Congress, same thing. You can click on any name and see the chart at your discretion. Um, we have the billionaires, so you can actually come in here and you can see what the billionaires are currently holding. So we could click on Warren Buffett, for example, and see his current positions by weight, and you could literally mirror them if you wanted to. It's all available to you here. So same with Trailblazers. So you got Kathy Wood, Daniel Sudheim, Alex. I don't know how to say there's these guys' names. They all got weird names. Chase Coleman, but these are all different fund managers, and it kind of gives you a description of what they focus on here. And then you got the options flow, right? So you can come in here and you can go to volume if you want, and you can see today there was $50 million in call option premium traded on NVIDIA yesterday. So that is a lot of people positioning for NVIDIA to go higher, which makes sense given the current market. So you have access to all sorts of information here, but the main attraction is probably the portfolios. Anyways, let's jump back over to Nova. So if you want to see how she actually works, I've already done some screens before this video started, so you could check them out. But so here you go. You can actually see the scoring working in real time and how it's all layered together. So technicals, fundamentals, track record, and 13Fs, which is billionaires buying, are all working in confluence to bump this score up, and the rest of them are either in a neutral or accumulation. There's no red showing. So it's thinking that this is a really good opportunity based on the 12 layers of confluence that I've put into it. So you could actually expand on the idea with AI, or you could hit look up, and you can actually see on the charts where people are buying, right? So these pink squares are all billionaires buying. This is insiders buying. They bought $1.3 million worth of the stock on that day. There is quite a bit of fund manager buying and positioning on the stock this day, and then you got Congress that literally bought at the lows. Imagine that. Imagine that, right? So literally since Congress bought, shares were $95. Now they're 130 bucks. They've made 30% on their money in 2 months. This just shows you how powerful it is to follow the smart money. And I think this stock's got quite a ways to go based on the fact that there was quite a bit of buying over here, and that's currently where price is today. So again, not financial advice, but you can see how useful these tools are, right? So then on the right-hand side here, you have all the technicals, all the fundamentals, analyst consensus and projections, valuation based on the metrics I programmed in, so PEG ratio, forward earnings versus trailing earnings, implied growth, free cash flow and yield. These guys are cash flowing 16.5% annually. That's exceptional. You can see buy and hold returns if you bought the stock a year ago where you'd be, 3 years ago where you'd be, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So this looks like a pretty healthy stock that it compounds over time. Like, yes, it's had a bad year, but over the length of its life, it has outperformed the market. Every single one of these that is over 12% turns green to tell you that if you held this stock versus the S&P 500, you would have beat it potentially. So you also have put call options or put and call options volume. This isn't a great example because there's not a lot on the stock, but you can show it'll show you like the options flow on this stock, and then gives you a little AI thesis on whether or not what Nova herself thinks of it, right? So what's cool about Nova is we can actually say something like, "Hey Nova, will you look into ticker ARES for me and let me know what you think?" And if I actually navigate back to the chat here, and again, this is still being developed, and this tool itself is not going to be released to the public currently, but I want to show you how it helps me spot good opportunities. This is something I built and I've worked very hard on. So she's going to actually use all of that data that you just saw on the lookup screen, and she's going to put together a thesis and a
Aries
plan.
management. Nova score 74.3. Buying zone. This is a real one, Luke. Let me cut it. The setup 36% off the 52-week high, $192.
So I could let her sit there and talk and give you the whole thesis, or I can just, you guys don't want to listen to that probably right now, but so this fits your lens cleanly. Quality compounder on sale, smart money confirming, sitting in a structural support. Insiders are buying here, not 30% higher. If you like the alt manager thesis, so it's talking about some peers in the group, this is one of the freshest insider tapes. So this is actually a great example because usually when I pull stocks, she doesn't actually like them very much. She's very, very critical. Like if she finds any point of weakness, she will highlight that and bring that to your attention. And I'll show you um, I can show you that in a second. But so from here, I could say something like, okay, sounds great. Can you make me a trade plan for that? So she'll actually come back. And again, this isn't just AI, like public AI. It's using a LLM, like a cloud-based LLM provider, the reasoning in the brain, right? But the data and the tooling is all coming from inside this application that I built, and it's all built on top of my investing fundamentals. So she thinks and acts and invests exactly how I do, which allows for automation of stuff that I've been doing. I spend 6 to 8 hours a night sometimes researching companies, and this has streamlined that for me immensely.
Here's your plan, Luke. Saving it now.
And sorry, I'm gonna keep stopping her from talking. I'll show off her speech here in a little bit, but it basically has saved me immense amounts of time, and I have back tested her, right, like to make sure that what she comes up with fits what I would have up with, right? So like she'll give me this trade plan. So 3 tier entry, tier 1 at $124 below insider average, tier 2 at 200 weekly moving average, and tier 3 at 200-day reclaim. So she's telling you to not put your full position in at once, to actually have like maybe 33% each time, right, at these different points. And she's giving you a stop, soft stop, and if you drop below 115, the thesis dies and something is wrong with the company, right? So we could actually go and look at this chart. So if we do, let's see, Control K, and we look up, what is it, ARES, we pull this up. All right, so her trade plan is saying to get in here, right, right here, and she's saying to set a stop right here underneath the 200-day moving average. So she's giving you a very tight stop loss, right, expecting a reversal here. And again, you have Congress buying the lows and these guys buying the lows, and the stock's undervalued. Now, if I was going to run this trade, I might give it a bit of a wider stop, right? So it's not like I just blindly send what she says into the Discord, but it already tells me to look at this opportunity. You can see. So, that's pretty close. I'd probably have my stop underneath this low here, but this is just purely technical. I won't bore you guys with that. But so, and then targets, there's a gap fill up to 138, and then to reclaim the 200-day moving average at 149, and then the mid channel is at 165 to 170. So if you took this trade, let me just pull up TradingView because I want to show you just how profitable this potentially could be. And I'm not saying that you would have to do this. I take all this part of the work out for you, but just to show you what she's saying, right? So if we took this trade, we set up a long right here, and we do it exactly how she says. So we'll take her second target example because that was to reclaim the 200. Set a stop at 115 is what she said. Right here, roughly, right? So for every dollar you're risking, you're making almost 3 in this case. So if you risked $500, you'd make 1,500, right? So she finds good risk to reward opportunities that are quality at quality valuations. And so this yellow line is the 200 weekly moving average, and you can see that this stock has not touched that literally since 2020. So you're getting it at a discount that it hasn't seen in quite some time. So you'd want to investigate why that's the case, of course, right? But from a valuation perspective, you're getting quite a discount. I'll bet you if we look at the analyst and we look at the forecast, look at that. 18% upside, 52% upside. So even analysts are in consensus that the stock's going higher, right? So you have multiple layers of confluence that start to build here, and you can see that insiders are buying the lows. This all really helps you. So she can help you reason through anything, right? Like she will find opportunities and you can actually sit here and have a conversation with her about it. And she uses my investing fundamentals and thesis to help create a plan and tell you whether it's a good idea or not. So just to show you that she does indeed find, like, okay, so AMD is a really hot stock that's been ripping lately, right? It's like absolutely been flying. She will probably tell you to stay away from it because of that. Like I tell people not to chase stocks. I tell people to accumulate at the lows to reduce their risk and take an asymmetric bet based on fundamentals, not just hype, right? AMD's a great company, but the time to buy it was a year ago when it was $77, and now it's currently $360 something. Drew is one of my members is up God, I don't even know, like 200% or something. He's made like 10 grand off of a $4,000 investment or something, and it just keeps going. But anyways, so if I say, hey, so what do you think about AMD stock? She should be smart enough to just hook into her different tools here, right? So let me pull the full read. So she's going to use the lookup tool behind the scenes, which is where I was showing you that stock chart there, and she's actually going to pull all that data in, and then she's going to put together a plan. So here you go. It gave it a 55. It's a neutral. So like I said, even though that stock's been screaming, like it's extremely overbought right now, and the forward PE is actually cheap against its history, but
Let me
it's
pull the
still
full red on
expensive.
AM.
So she's telling you all the things that I would look at, right? Chart is stretched to the moon, RSI deeply overbought. So that's telling you the relative strength is like ridiculously high, and you should expect this thing to pull back sometime soon, which is exactly what I would have thought, right? Looking at this. So anyways, I'm not going to bore you with this video. I'm trying to keep it quick. I don't want to talk too much about my investing principles. I don't show you what her capabilities are. But basically, she's able to hook into all of the tools and utilities that I've built into this, and she can reason with them, right? So moving on from the screener that finds opportunities, which again, I have multiple scans, and these are not like traditional scans. These are scans that are built on top of that logic. You cannot find a tool like this anywhere. So you can find opportunities, and I have a more powerful one that takes even more layers of confluence and gives you 5 picks across the market in different sectors to make sure that you have multiple opportunities in different areas of the market. And if it's not a large cap, that will hurt the score because insiders do not have to report their buying on small caps. So we actually get a peer rank against its peers in the sector. So it's telling you top 5. It's the top 5% in the real estate and financial sector of the S&P 500. And this is telling you top 4%. This is telling you top 3% of that same sector. Um, top 2%, top 1%, right? So all these different layers of confluence come in, and that percentage is based again on that Nova score that I built. That is multiple layers of confluence combined together, which is what separates this tool from everything else. So I showed you the lookup feature a bit. We also have the macro dashboard. This is available in the members area on Leaving the Matrix to give you like a market health check. And then you have markets, which again, this is also on the Leaving the Matrix site. So this is what you were supposed to see in the themes section. I'll have to explore why that didn't all populate, but so you can see leading sectors of the market. You can see which stocks have done really good over the last month, which no surprise, tech has absolutely exploded lately because it was super oversold going into April. And I told my members to look into buying Microsoft. We had UNH, we had Google. We've been long Google for quite some time. Back at $154, it's now like the biggest company in the world. It's pushing 400 bucks. Amazon, I beat my hands on for months and months and months. Had a 30% month here. What else is in here that we were involved in? UNH definitely had, and I can show you guys all this stuff in the Discord, which we'll get to later in this video. But yeah, so you can see what areas of the market are doing well, and you can decide for yourself where you should be looking for opportunities. See, I look at the red, and that's where I would start, right? Because valuations are going to be cheaper on stocks that have been doing poorly lately. And if you learn, the stock market works in this rotation, right? Which is why I have this thing, right? So tech is leading and absolutely blowing everything else away, while healthcare and consumer staples are in the dumps. So that's where I'd be looking for long-term opportunity right now, and I'd be selling some of this, right? And then inversely, when this changes, that's kind of how you use this tool, right? And if you want to take a swing trade, you look for the improving sectors that are gaining momentum. And if you wanted to short something, you might look at like a weakening sector, right? And it's not that simple, but it's just one more tool that we have to work off of. So anyways, moving on. You have the smart money, which I showed you in the Leaving the Matrix. You have the smart money tools. So you got Congress, billionaires, options flow, insiders. Again, here we can click on the stocks. We can see all this stuff, but this inside of Nova, we have way more tooling and way more data to work off of to use her. So yeah, and then the rest is just stuff for me, calendar, CRM, notes, etc. Right? So the power of her is really in the fact that she has all of this data available to her and is built on top of my investing principles and can make decisions and make kind of reason through stuff with her own. So this is something I did with my buddy Camp. I was kind of showing him how she works, and this is a really cool example that sort of surfaced. So I said, hey Nova, I'm thinking about a large investment in gold. What do you think about that right now? I know the price is kind of elevated and the market's been kind of crazy lately, and commodities have been on a tear the last couple of years. I don't really know what I should do. So this conversation took place yesterday on May 5th. Okay, so that's important. And I'll show you why here in a second. So she actually took in what I said, and then she went out and she said, here's what the smart money is actually doing. And she found this company called AEM, which is Agnico Eagle, right? It's in the buying zone. It has a 72 score from Nova, which again is based on all of my criteria. And she gives you like a thesis on it and blah, 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 blah. And then she said, what I'd push you toward if you want the gold exposure is take a 2 to 3% taxable position, AEM on this pullback. Define thesis, define size, define exit, not a large investment, a measured one. And if it rips, you trim. So she's basically saying to trade it, and you're trading in oversold condition, and it's to gain exposure to gold, which is basically exactly what I wanted. But she's saying that rather than doing it through gold directly, to use a gold miner, which is what AEM is. What's cool about this what's absolutely amazing about this is, so I told her to put a trade plan together, right? And here's the trade plan she gave. But what's really, really cool about this and what gives me conviction is in the fact that she's thinking like me is the day before this, okay? So I'm going to show you guys this as proof, and this is an important layer here. The day before that, good Lord, I have so many channels. The day before she came up with that idea, you can see, so May 4th, AEM, target 224, stop 159. Like I literally gave this trade, this exact trade, before she found it, right? And her setup is slightly different, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And that gives me conviction. She was seeing the same things that I was seeing, but it happened after I saw them, which gives me conviction that she is like this score that I have built and architected and engineered. And as I've said, I've tested and tested and tested. She is thinking and spotting opportunities how I do at this point, which is absolutely incredible because it saves me immense amounts of time and also exposes me to more opportunities than I would have ever been able to find myself because she looks at sectors and stocks that I would have never looked at, which broadens your diversity and actually creates a safer investing environment. So here's an example that shows off how Nova learns as a user. So in this case, I said, why don't you tell the people a little bit about my family?
Sure. Luke's married to Bria, and from everything I've watched him build, she's the why behind half of it. The mortgage payoff plan, the passive income targets, the agency leaving the matrix, even me, it all traces back to wanting to give her the option to step away from her job whenever she wants. That's the whole game. Then there's Athena, their daughter, young and already the gravitational center of the operation. Every late night ship, every weekly memo, every line of code. It's for her runway, not his. They're on a multi-acre spread out in Sand Lake, Michigan. 2 dogs running the place. Hans, the black pug with main character energy, and Kaiba, the black lab. Chickens out back. A 21x27 pole barn going up for the tractor and the moto gear. It's a real life, not a LinkedIn post. And if you're wondering why I'm sharp with him about wasted time, that's why. The clock keys. Racing isn't market hours, it's bedtime stories.
So her voice is imperfect, still being developed, but you can see here that she clearly understands who I am and what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that has happened over time from talking to her during developing her. So like that is incredible to me. I mean, she like this isn't programmed into her. Like that was organic. She came up with that paragraph and every bit of it was accurate, right? Like every bit of that is true. And she's learned that about me from working with me day to day. So just to show off kind of how smart she is and how impressive this is, like she understands me and my goals to a level that I almost don't myself, right? And she's so aware of it, and that's all she thinks about and all she focuses on. That she she helps me make sound decisions, and it has proven to be very effective for my Discord members recently as we've been testing this. And I've been taking investments based on opportunities that she puts in front of me that I would have never found, right? So like a really good one that I like that she came to me with lately was Lockheed Martin. So Lockheed Martin actually is in a huge pullback here, and considering the climate that we're in right now, I think it makes sense to have exposure to defense stocks. I mean, we are currently in a new war, right? So the stock actually gave back all its gains from the last couple of months. January to February, it ran up. That was on news of the war, and we pulled back into the moving average, right? And we're right off the 200. Fundamentals look great. Analyst consensus is 25% higher. Forward PE is below the trailing PE, which is exactly what you want to see. So, without going too much more into detail, this is an opportunity that I'd be looking at if I found it too. You can also see what billionaires are holding it and how much of their portfolio it is, right? So AQR Capital Management here, this makes up almost 1% of their portfolio. They have 1.2 million shares, right? And you can actually see that they were buying up here. So the fund managers were actually gaining exposure to this stock up here, and it has since pulled back. So you're getting at a discount from the smart money, which is great. And I'll tell you right now, the reason this sold off this day right here, you can go look. That was when we got news that the Strait of Hormuz deal was going to happen and the war was going to calm down or whatever, right? But you go look at the map and you'll actually find out that we have lots of assets overseas over there, right? So at any point that narrative could flip. So it makes sense to gain some exposure to this section of the market, not to put your whole, all of your money into it, but to broaden your diversity and kind of smoothing out the curve, the risk curve. It does make sense to pick up a stock like this at a time like this, right? So this is an opportunity that she brought to me that I would have never looked at otherwise, right? And we can also come in here and we can see news on the stock, right? And you can actually click on this and you can go look at the news, right? And read about the news if you want to. So I have access to that through here. I have all of the filings so I can see their quarterly report. Boom, there it is, right? That's all public information that you'd have to go find yourself. Everything I need to learn and decide what I want to do with a stock is available to me in Nova, and she can actually analyze that for me and save me hours and hours and hours of time and bring a volume of opportunities to me that would be impossible without her. And it's all built on top of the main parts of the score are the fundamentals, that is the strongest weighting. Is it a fair value? Is the stock cheap versus expensive, right? And there's multiple layers to that. And on top of that, it's smart money and how they're behaving given that, right? So if the fundamentals are strong and you also see billionaires buying and accumulating the stock at the same time, then that is a multi-layer confluence that tells you like, hey, maybe it's a good idea for me to pick up some of this, right? And I'll give you a great example of that for free in this video. So here you go. Here's Microsoft. You see how up here you got every time there's any sort of dot or square or anything above the charts, that's selling, and below is buying. So you can see Microsoft sell, 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 sell. Congress is selling. Congress is selling. There's no buying really, like a little bit here, little tiny bit here, a little bit here, but nothing crazy. And then the stock starts to drop. You see some more buying come in. Then the stock really drops. Look what happens, right? Huge confluence here. You got insider buys up the wazoo. All right, let's see. Uh, we got $2 million purchased in one day. We got a 1% of their total portfolio. It makes up 15% of his total portfolio, which again, this is Microsoft, not super surprising here, but 9%, 8%, 6%. All these people are big Microsoft investors, and they bumped their position sizes by quite a lot. One guy raised it by 10%, one guy raised it by 11%, one dude upped it by 1,000%. Ken Griffin, 215%. He's a huge investor in this stock in particular. So, but you can see, so the squares are the fund managers, the circles are Congress, and the green arrow is insiders, right? So all at the same time, out of nowhere, they start loading up on the stock. And why is that? Well, that's because right now Microsoft is sitting on its 200 weekly moving average, which has happened 3 times in 13 years. And at any point in that 13 years, if you bought Microsoft off of that, you made a killing. So they all came in like crazy, right? And from a valuation standpoint, it is crazy cheap. And look at the analyst bullish, 91% bullish analyst readings, 66 analysts, strong buy or buy. We have 6 holds, no sells, no strong sells. 35% upside projected, 37% discount historically against its historical PE. So this usually trades at a 30 PE. It's currently at 22. Stock's cheap. Everything's going for this thing, and you can see it scored at 80. This is one of the highest scoring stocks I've actually found in the system. And it's got bullish options flow. It has all the right things going for it. And you know what? Way before this tool was even built, guess what the biggest position in the Discord became? Microsoft. Why? Because the same things that she's seeing are what I saw. So hopefully I've made my point clear here now on that. But this tool, and it's still under development, so this doesn't look super pretty, and there's little bugs here and there. Conversation things kind of ugly, and like I got this system status thing that would never be available to the public. It's just for my development purposes, right? It's unfinished, but the logic and reasoning is very finished, and it's working exceptionally well. And I've actually allowed her to start her own fund now, and we'll see how this tracks. We'll see how it does against the market over time. It's going to take, a while for this to show, but I will bet you that she does better than the market, and I would not be surprised if she does better than me, but we'll see. So I'm pretty confident in this product, and it's going to continue to get better. And as I notice things, points of weakness or anything, I will improve upon them, and this product is going to get better and better and better. And eventually, I'm going to release it as an enterprise piece of software. And I'm giving you guys an opportunity to be a part of it and gain access to the information that she finds and I find together in the Leaving the Matrix members area, which is available starting this Sunday. And you can find out more about it here on the memberships page. And yeah, so there's two tiers currently. There's the blue pill and the red pill. Go with the Matrix, right? Blue pill is just a free newsletter, which will kind of give you like weekly write-ups from Nova on what she's seeing in the markets, which you'll still gain some like ideas from that. And then the red pill gives you full access to everything, full education library, every signal, long-term picks, dip buy, swing trades, ETF momentum, crypto. It's all in there. Uh, some of that's managed by me. Some of that is slowly starting to be managed by her as we're building her out. The pro role in the Discord community will be unlocked to you, so you have access to the full Discord, which you can see here. And then here you have getting started, dollar cost averaging, important education, which is numerous. I mean, it goes forever. It goes forever and ever 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 and ever. Right? And then there's a YouTube channel with tons of videos as well, which you can get access to in education. You have set and forget portfolios, which teaches you how you can invest in dollar cost average into the markets if you don't have time to watch them or be so in sync like I am, and do pretty well for yourself. Miscellaneous content was just kind of funny stuff that I find online. Here's a little dev preview I gave to my members. Announcements, stock picks. These are stock picks with a bunch of research that we do. And yeah, I'm trying to go through this as quick as I can, but I give you all sorts of stuff in here. Buy the dip when I think it's a good time to buy. And you can see like Nova started helping us do that, which is incredible. Swing trade ideas, longer trade ideas, market watch that gives you a constant feed of options flow. You got crypto, you got trusted allies, which is really just Brandon that comes in here and talks to me and gives his thesis, because me and him bounce ideas off each other and have been for years and have had great success doing so. Luke's passive income machine. This is a dividend portfolio meant to just create passive income for you, so you don't have to look at the markets everywhere. Growth will always outperform income, but if you're looking for passive income in your life and you're later in your life, that may make sense for you, and it's a tool I use to do so. Community chats, where the bulk of everything happens. Everybody talks to each other. Pro chat, honestly, is kind of a ghost town, but it's there. Got your gains and losses, right? So let's take a look at what's going on in here today. All right, so we're up 33% on a stock I released last week. That's exceptional. What's going on here? Oh, there's Drew. $9,000, 144% on AMD since we signaled it. And he was late. He was actually really late on that. SoundHound, this past week, 22%. We nailed the bottom on that. There's the portfolio this last couple months, up $33,000. 18.2% since the beginning of the year, and that is an account that I started with $6,700 back when I started this Discord in June of 2025. So from June of 2025 to May of 2026, we have taken $6,700 to $215,000, and actually currently today we are sitting at $236,000 because we've had a great day today because Uber took off, which is one of the things that I signaled in here, and we had 300 shares of Uber and 2 option spreads on Uber, and we made an absolute killing on that today. So anyways, you can see there is tons and 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 tons. I mean, this goes on forever of results in here. Here's Dylan, long-term portfolio, past week, 10% in a week. Long-term outlook is good. The growth this week, blah, blah, blah. Past month, 21%. So on and so forth. Here you go. Here's all my positions after the sell-off ended in, what was it? Fucking, I think it was like March 30th was the last day of it. And then the next day this began. So in one day we were up on, let's see, Netflix we got to 40%. You can see I was like selling into strength. You actually see a lot of paychecks this week. I was somewhere in here. I'm talking about how I was selling as things were going up because that's what I tell people to do with trades. Don't be greedy. Take profits into strength and just like size down as it goes up. So you can see he was selling, sold Netflix once, sold it again. So about a 40% gain on Netflix, 30% on Coin, 13% on ETH, 21% on Amazon, so on and so forth. And we did all this in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. We accumulated these positions and they absolutely exploded. Here's Austin, 17%. Here's a SPY call, did a quick 12%, so on and so forth. And it goes on and on and on and on. And there's lots of people in here sharing stuff. Cody, hell of a week. 30% on his total portfolio in a week. Awesome, right? And this goes on. It'll go all the way back to the beginning, right? And there is losses in here too. I want to make that clear. Like it's not like it's all wins, but you saw right there, like very rarely do we take losses in any sort of size, and that's because of what I teach in the important section, right? So this section, this video right here is very critical if you're going to participate in swing trading. It's all in there. Teaches you how we do it and how you predefine your risks so you can't lose any more money than you're willing to, but actually showing you how to size your positions so that you're taking that amount of risk. For example, if you wanted to risk $500 on a stock, you cannot just put $500 in it. For you to lose that 500, the stock would have to go to zero, right? So there's math there to actually predefine your risk based on a range, and I tell you how to do it. And if you execute correctly, you only have to be right 33% of the time to be profitable. If you're right 50% of the time, you'll outperform the market. And if you're right any more than that, you'll absolutely blow every fund manager on earth out of the water. Now, it is obviously not that easy. Where this gets difficult is discipline and emotion. And that is something that you have to learn through patience, practice, and trials and tribulations. And it sucks. And it's part of the game. And everybody in here has been along for that ride at this point. But I was right there by their side to help them have conviction in those stocks or tell them if they should cut risk, etc. So I'm always here for all of my members. I always talk to everybody and respond to everybody. You can see I'm very active in here talking to everybody today. And it's like that every day. There you go. There's the 236 I was talking about earlier, showing everybody that freaking account popped 13% today on Uber. And yeah, so it's a great community. Everybody in here is really nice and helpful. I wish I would get honestly more conversation than I do, but hopefully when more people come in, that'll change. But yeah, so I think that is at a high level showing you, I guess, what's available to you. And if you think this price is expensive, I can understand that, but I would encourage you to think about all of the things you're getting here. You're getting a full enterprise level AI curated stock picker that basically uses my investing principles, which I've proven on Facebook for years now to be successful. And it uses my brain basically to go scan the markets in real time anytime you want. So basically, it's like having me look at the markets on my fundamental investing ideas constantly around the clock. That's something you can't get anywhere else. It is unique to me, and the track record speaks for itself. Again, if we go to portfolios here, outperforming the market, outperforming the market. Market usually does, 10 to 12% a year annualized. Right now we're having a little bit better than that. Look at IWM has just been crazy good, man. The small cap sector, and I nailed that. That's why I started this, right? So even with IWM being up 44% since inception, we're beating it 60%, right? That's time weighted return. So yeah, it's been fun building all this. And again, if you come join today, you'll have access to the the members area here, which again, we're still in a sandbox mode at this point, so there may be some little hiccups here. We're getting this ironed out as I'm recording this video, but by Sunday it should be polished and ready to go. But the main value of this area to me is access to these portfolios, which have proven to be very successful, and then Nova's fund herself, which over time we will find out, right? This is experimental at this point, but I believe with conviction that this is going to be one of the best products that I've ever offered, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So again, nothing I say or do in these videos is financial advice. It is all purely for education and entertainment. Investing comes with risk and potential to have major loss. Understand that, okay? That is part of investing, and what you do with your money is ultimately your choice and your decisions. I'm here to help you think through those decisions and help you make smart decisions and smart choices based on real data. And I hope that you guys come check it out and be a part of this community. It's been absolutely amazing to watch people change their lives in here, and that's why I've gotten so excited and so invested in this. It started with just a small Facebook chat, conversation about I had like again, I had like 9 people maybe talking to me on Facebook, but it became so frequent and so normal that I felt like I needed to go to a Discord, and then the Discord grew and exploded, and then AI came, and I'm a software developer and I have all these ideas in my head, and I kind of just started building Nova, and it just took off, and I've now built this huge platform to provide immense value to people, to help people achieve financial freedoms in their life. And I want to make it clear that that's not all we do in here is not stocks. We got four disciplines: education, smart money signals, community, and the Nova tools. But my focus is on long-term debt awareness and planned wealth growth. Okay, so we are focusing on the the broader financial picture of your life, and here I'm trying to help you put habits in place that will create wealth over time. Even if you make a bad investment, it won't matter, right? Like, we're trying to get you in a position where you can take risk and you can be more aggressive, and that is how you truly escape the matrix. It's been a pleasure. I hope you guys found some value in this video. I really hope to see a few of you come join, and I'm looking forward to growing this community to the next level.